بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. I'm not sure if this poem can be found on the internet, but I think it's very important that you read poetry in any language that you speak. Just read poetry and it will help me a lot. If you study with me, it will help me a lot. It's even better if you decide to study poetry. We tried to offer something, we succeeded. I'm busy. I have to teach other things. I can't teach poetry all the time, even if I like to teach poetry all the time. I prefer to teach poetry 20 hours a week instead of any other course probably. But this can never be the way of doing things, and the priority is that I teach other things. So on your own you have to study poetry in any language. We all speak English, at least this is my assumption for the audience. So maybe English poetry or poetry translated into English. The most important thing is for me, and I can't really explain it in this video, is that you study something that has a meter. More importantly, that has a rhyming scheme. That it rhymes. This is even more important than having a meter. Yes, and this is what we mean by poetry. During these difficult times, and what we are experiencing, and what people are experiencing actually, I think this is relevant. Especially when you receive it now, while seeing all these hardships, while seeing what's happening around us. Try to figure out who the poet is. Yeah. Try to, even if you are mistaken, let us know. Or think about, just try to guess from the style, and try to think about the meaning. These are the last two stanzas of the poem, and the speaker says, "Ah, love, let us be true to one another for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night." If you read the rest of the poem, these are the last two stanzas, and if you read the rest of the poem, this is a man who does not really share a lot with people like us. But you see, this is like a universal theme. I'm not going to explain it. I think it will ruin our experience if I start explaining it. Sometimes things cannot be explained because they are beautiful the way they are. They cannot be explained. They cannot be detailed. They should be left as they are. I told you about the story of Shaykh Ibn Hajar and his wird of reading in Kitab al-Aghani li Abi al-Faraj al-Asfahani, a book of literature. Yeah. Remember the importance of poetry. This is a very fine piece of art, and I'm not sure if it exists on the internet. The book I'm holding here, if you can see it, I'm not sure if the camera is showing me. The book I'm holding here, I'm not going to tell you what it is. It has poems that I do not find on the internet, and this fascinates me. and I bought it from this Dutch and Flemish institute here in Cairo, cultural institute, and it was just a book fair, used books, something. Bought it for like 130 Egyptian pounds or so, something like this, if I remember correctly. I think even less. I'm surprised now. I think even less than that. And yeah, it's the most precious thing I have, probably in I have a lot of things here, but in my study I have a lot of things, but this is the most precious book I have, because the things in it do not exist on the internet. Some of the things in it do not exist in the internet, or so I believe, to the best of my knowledge. Please read poetry, read literature, try to study, try not to confine yourself to the study of al-ulum that we study, without seeing other disciplines that might be very important to our studies. You might not know how, but they might be very important. I think I explained this before, talked about this before, talked about the importance of studying literature. But in this video, I encourage you to study poetry in any language, not necessarily the Arabic poetry, so that it helps you understand the Qur'an. This is a very good thing, but art for art's sake all the time. You do not study poetry to understand the Qur'an. You study poetry for poetry's sake. That's it. This is the intention. This is the intention that grants you the rida of Allah, actually. We can argue about that. We can argue for that, I mean, but it's not the time, and it's not suitable now to do this. So study poetry, please. Memorize poetry if you are interested. Recite it if you are interested. Listen to it, yes, but to abandon it in the name of what? Studying al-ilm and being religious, I think you will lack a lot. And I think I will only have to remind you of the story of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn al-Abbas radiallahu anhuma with Nafi' ibn al-Azraq, the head of al-Khawarij. And I told this story before, and if you do not know it, try to find more about it. والله تعالى أعلى وأعلم وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.